Hey guys, how is everybody doing? With the release of 28 Years Later, which is now officially playing in theaters, today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on both 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Now, this is a video that I have not done for a while. I don't think I've done it for I don't think I did it last year. I might have, but I don't really remember. But this is a video to where I'm going to be talking about two movies in basically one video. You're going to be getting getting two reviews in one video, but it's of the same franchise. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be reviewing 28 Days Later in the first part of this video, and then in the second half of the video, you'll be getting my thoughts on 28 Weeks Later. Now, if you only are here to hear my thoughts on 28 Days Later, then watch the first part of this video. And if you're only here to watch my thoughts on 28 Weeks Later, then I'll probably have a time code somewhere here randomly to let you know where to skip to watch that, which I don't know why you would only want to watch that, but well, hey, whatever floats your boat. So, with that all out of the way, here are my thoughts on both of these movies. So let's start off with my thoughts on 28 Days Later. Starting off with my positives on 28 Days Later, and that is the star of the movie, Cillian Murphy. I am an absolute huge fan of Cillian Murphy, especially ever since Oppenheimer came out. He has always been an actor that I've always really loved and always really enjoyed watching. No matter what the movie is or whatever he's in, whenever that guy shows up, I just absolutely love him, and I love him in Peaky Blinders. That is one of the best shows I've ever seen, mainly because he's the star of that show. He's fucking amazing in that. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Cillian Murphy, and to see that he's in a movie like this is so weird to look at today, especially to see like where his career kind of went off from here to where he's like in movies like Batman Begins, and he's in other movies, and like I said, he's in shows like Peaky Blinders, and then he won an Oscar last year for Oppenheimer. Like to see him do a movie like this is so weird to see today. Just like again, now, again, this movie was made in the 2000s and this come out in 2002. So to see him in this movie early on in his career might not be surprising, but to see where his career went off from this movie is just so surprising to see him do something like this because these movies are first time watches for me. So to see him in this movie is so weird. And I understand why a lot of fans of this series want to see him come back because one, he's a great actor, and two, I feel there's a lot with his character that they could really do because I am interested to see what he could have been doing during 28 Weeks Later, and supposedly he's gonna be in 28 Years Later or be in the follow-up to that. Like, I want to see Jim again. I want to see his character again in this series because Cillian Murphy, one, is a great actor, and two, I just really want to see what they could do more with this character. So yeah, I really love seeing Cillian Murphy in this movie. I absolutely just love seeing him in anything, if I'm being honest. So seeing that he's the main actor in this, and again to see where he went off from here, it's just really cool to see him in this. And when you're talking about these movies, it's kind of hard not to bring up these zombies or whatever you want to call them. They're zombies. I'll argue with you over it. They're zombies basically, or infected, or runners, or they don't even give them a specific name in this movie, so we're just gonna call them zombies. If you call them anything else, good for you. They're zombies to me. Whatever you say, it's a zombie. But I really like this version of zombies. Like, I've never been a fan of George A. Romero's zombies. Sure, he's had some iconic zombies and stuff like that. Like he's had Bud, I'm pretty sure his name was from Day of the Dead. Like you have like zombies that are memorable, but his zombies are those slow walking like you can just run around them and you kind of watch them. Like I don't know how people are dying because of this. Like you can easily run around them, you can easily like just get rid of them. Like that whole sequence in the Dawn of the Dead movie where they're just like when the bikers are running around messing with them, throwing pies in their face. Like those zombies are jokes to me, but the zombies in this movie and other movies after this are the zombies I like. I like the fast moving and ferocious like zombies that like make you want to shit your pants when you see them. Like my favorite part of one of my favorite parts of this movie, and just shows how scary these zombies are. There's like a part to where Jim is like walking around, like the whole opening sequence when he's just walking around London or the UK. I'm pretty sure this movie's set in London. Like when he's just walking around London when he first wakes up, which is probably the most iconic part about this movie, and he's just walking around the whole place and it's just deserted. And it reminded me a lot of The Walking Dead, which I'll give my thoughts more on that later, where he's just kind of just walking around, and then he shows up at this church, and there's like all these bodies just like kind of laying around, and they look like they're sleeping basically, and they're just like laying there, and then all of a sudden he says hello, and then these two just like wake up and just look at him like they're shocked. They're just like,
Hello?
Don't mind me, I
think I have to go change my underwear. I'll be right back.
Like, they're just looking at him and they're scared, and, like, I remember sitting there and I was like, "Holy fuck," like, those are zombies that I think are terrifying, and they're just ferocious and creepy, and they just make you just unnerved seeing them, like, I like these ferocious and fast-moving zombies. Not this George A. Romero stuff. I absolutely respect George A. Romero. I love a lot of his zombie movies. Like, his zombie movies are good, but I don't like his zombies. If that makes sense. I like his movies, but I don't like his zombies because they're slow and they're fucking dumb. But these ones are, like, fast and they're creepy and, like, they make you just, like, before they even get to you, it makes you just want to shoot yourself. It's just like, well, it's better than what that fucker will do to me. And this isn't really kind of towards the movie, but this is something I really respected about the filmmaking of the movie. And now I'm going to kind of get more into this later on in the video, but what I like about this movie and about the low budget is just how like much they were able to do. And what I mean by that is like there's a part in this movie to where like I talked about, there's a part in the movie at the very beginning where Killian Murphy's character Jim wakes up and it's the whole world's basically just gone. 28 days after this virus gets out, all of London is basically gone. There's nothing left of it, and he's walking around and stuff like that. What I love about that, and what I learned loving about that, is that apparently the director and writer, they did not have the biggest budget for this movie. This movie was only made for like $8 million in U.S. money. I'm pretty sure their money, I believe that would be around like 5 million, if I'm not mistaken. So for their budget, they basically only had 5 million American dollars. They had 8 million. So they did not have the biggest budget for this movie, and especially for the time, that's not a very big budget, and that's not a very big budget to make a zombie movie. And what I love about that is that apparently when they filmed this movie, they did not pay off the city, or they didn't pay off to have like roadblocks or whatever, like some movies do. They pay off to get certain places closed off so they can film there. But for that, they didn't do that. They just showed up really early in the morning just to shoot some of that stuff, like with the whole part where Jim's walking around and that big building's just behind him. Like that was not blocked off. They just showed up early in the morning just to shoot that. I absolutely love learning that. And apparently, I believe the writer of this movie, like he basically got like teenage girls or something like that, and he kind of like paid them to like basically flutter their eyelashes at people to fucking basically give them more time. So it's like, oh, can you wait off so they can film this or whatever? Like they basically did some illegal shit to get that done. But yeah, I love learning that. That is so cool to me. To where it's just like that's what I love about filmmaking and what how much passion a filmmaker can have is that when you're making a movie and you want to get something done but you don't have the money to do it, like something like that, they are willing to do anything to get it done. I absolutely loved learning that about this movie. And again, not kind of really towards the movie. It's more what this movie did is that you can kind of tell this movie kind of influenced other zombie movies. So where at the time, I'm pretty sure after George A. Romero didn't really make any more zombie movies, and after this movie came out, this kind of like revoked the zombie genre at the time. And you can definitely tell it did because the movies that came afterwards, you can kind of tell took from a little bit of influence from this. Like when I was watching it, I was watching certain things, and I got like and I started seeing scenes that kind of like looked like they were from other movies. Like there's parts where I was thinking of like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which is the Dawn of the Dead remake, which I really enjoy. Like there's moments here and there where they're like driving through a parking garage or something. Like it made me feel like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, and it kind of felt like Zack Snyder and James Gunn kind of took a little bit of influence from this movie. Like you can tell the influences in that movie, and like I was talking about, like how Jim woke up and started walking through the city. Like that moment reminded me a lot of the opening of The Walking Dead, where like Rick wakes up in the hospital and he starts walking around and he sees the whole hospital's deserted, and then he sees like these body bags and stuff like that, and sees how the whole world is basically dead and like there's nothing left. Nobody's walking around, no cars are going around or anything. Those two are very similar, and I honestly thought 28 Days Later stole that from Walking Dead, but really, Walking Dead kind of seemed to take influence from that, which again you can kind of see that. And another thing that's not even a movie, like you can kind of tell the influence that The Last of Us might have taken from this. And The Last of Us is my favorite video game of all time. And so when I was watching this, I got a lot of influences of that, like with the father and the daughter of this movie. Like I got that little bit of an influence there, and I just like I got a lot of like sequences in this movie and a lot of scenes in this movie to where I was just like and I started thinking about other projects like those three projects, and I was like, it kind of feels like those other projects took influence from this and kind of borrowed ideas from that, which I absolutely loved. Which, again, that maybe it was just me that noticed stuff like that, but I absolutely love that about this movie. Now moving on to my negatives, and what don't really like about this movie, and it's kind of hard for me to rewatch this movie because of this, and that is this blurry look that this movie has. Because apparently, this movie was shot on a digital camera, and I really don't like how they did that. Now, again, I don't really know if that was intentional. I don't know if that's why, if they did that on purpose because they wanted that to kind of match the tone that they were trying to go for in this movie, or maybe they really did not have that big of a budget to where they had to shoot it on a digital camera. I really don't know. I don't really know the behind the scenes part about that. But what's weird is because towards the very end of the movie, after Killian Murphy and the other two escape from like that one military thing where the military people basically tried to kidnap them or whatever. Like after they escape that, and then it shows that they're on their island and they're living on their own or whatever, and they're still looking for help. And it looks like they're in Ireland, if I'm pretty sure. And like they're living in this cabin, and then all of a sudden it looks better, and you could tell it's shot on a film. Why wasn't the rest of the movie look like that? Like it's hard for me to rewatch this movie because of that grainy look, and because of that look, because of the digital camera look. I don't really know if I would ever if I could rewatch because it's such a huge standout and such a huge issue for me. Because when I'm watching, I'm like, I really don't like it. I really don't like how it looks like this. It's really distracting, and it's a lot like Scream 4. I love Scream 4, but the look of that movie is so weird because it has like this weird yellow smudge all over it. This one kind of has something similar, but it's just blurry. Which, again, I don't know why they decided to shoot it on a digital camera. Maybe they did not have that big of a budget, or maybe that was just intentional because they just wanted to try something different. I really could not tell you. So I don't know. I really don't know what the reason really is, but it is an issue. If it was intentional, then I really don't think they should have. But if it wasn't intentional, it still doesn't look very good. And my last negative, and if anything, maybe this is just something that just doesn't age well for me because there are so many other zombie movies, and we've seen so many other zombie movies do this. This movie just has a very generic story. Like when I'm watching the movie, it's generic. Like honestly, it's something that I've seen before, and it's a wash, rinse, repeat type thing where it's just like I've seen this kind of movie before. I've seen this story. I've seen this kind of journey before. We literally have The Walking Dead. We've seen this kind of journey. Like we have The Last of Us, we have Shaun of the Dead, we had George A. Romero come back and make more zombie movies during the early 2000s. And there's just been so many other zombie movies to come out to where I've seen before I've watched this movie, and just watching this movie, it just has a generic story. And again, maybe that's just something that just does not age well, and maybe that's just something because of a movie that I'm watching for the first time. Maybe that's just me, but watching this movie and seeing how generic this story really is, and just seeing that how we've gotten other movies just like this. But again, it was a first time watch for me, which might have killed that for me. I don't know. Again, first time watch, but it's just a generic story. It's not a huge negative or anything. It doesn't make the movie unwatchable or anything. Like there's a lot of other movies that have the same story, and some just do it better than others. But watching this movie, I've seen this kind of movie before, and especially for a zombie movie, it can be a little bit repetitive. Overall, guys, I really enjoy 28 Days Later. I honestly think it's a pretty enjoyable zombie movie. I'm not the biggest zombie fan in the world, but the zombie movies I do like, I would probably add that to that list of the movies that I do like. I do really think this is a pretty enjoyable movie. I don't think it's absolutely groundbreaking or one of the best to ever exist, like some people made it out to be when I first watched this movie. But I still enjoy it. I still think it's an enjoyable movie. I still really enjoyed the movie, and if you haven't seen it, I would definitely give it a watch, even though it's kind of hard to find this movie because you can't buy it on physical media anymore because the world is a piece of shit. But if you can find it somewhere on streaming, if you and go to Prime Video and rent it, I would definitely recommend you do that. So with that all out of the way, here let's get into my thoughts on 28 Weeks Later. Starting off with my positives on 28 Weeks Later is the whole opening of this movie. This is probably one of the best openings that I have ever seen for a zombie movie, if I'm being completely honest, or for a horror movie in general, because it really sets up of what this movie is going to be and just how much bigger the movie is going to be. Because what we get in the opening, it's nothing special at first. It's more the movie just opens with just this family of people just hiding out in this cabin in the middle of nowhere. You get this couple, you get an old couple, and then you get this like one black guy or whatever. Like it's nothing special at first. It's like calm, it's relaxing, it's just showing people surviving during all of this, and kind of just people settling down and just living a quiet life in this little cabin. And then all of a sudden, things start to go wrong because then a little boy randomly shows up to this cabin looking for help, and then they let him in, and he said that he was being chased by his parents, which ended up turning out to be infected. And then there's this one other girl, which I forgot to mention, is also in the cabin, just goes up to this window, and then infected just swarm this building. Like, they swarm the building, and they all start to die one by one, basically because of that little boy. That little boy basically fucked them over. And where they're trying to escape, and they escape to this barn, but then they slowly start to die one by one. The old couple die, and then the dad, the dad, basically the husband or whatever to this girl, I forget their names, he basically shows up, and then his wife goes back up to save the little boy who's about to basically get killed by an infected. So she goes back to save him, and when another zombie shows up about to kill all of them, the husband basically abandons them. He basically leaves that place, and he doesn't go back to save them. And then he runs away, and he looks back, and he sees his wife die. Talk about that because later on he finds out that she's still alive, and I'll get more back into that later. That opening of this movie is awesome. I'm pretty sure that's like the first like 10 minutes of this movie. Like the first 10-15 minutes of this movie is that, and that really shows you what 28 weeks later is going to be. And I absolutely love that opening because I thought the opening of this movie was awesome. And when I was watching, I'm like, that is probably one of the best openings I've seen for a zombie movie ever. Like, honestly couldn't tell you a really good opening for a zombie movie because this might be it, honestly, if I'm being honest, because I thought that was a great opening and that really set the stage of what the sequel was going to look like. I also really thought the setting of this movie was interesting. Now, it's nothing major, it's just in like a big city or whatever. But what I like about it is that they have it as like a military setting where like the whole military is watching it. You got snipers on top of buildings everywhere, and like it seems to be just like a quarantine zone basically. That's basically what the setting of this movie is. It's just a little quarantine zone because supposedly all the infected in this area are gone or dead. They're gone, dead, or they've just disappeared. There's no infected in this entire area to where they just turned it into a quarantine zone. And I really like that about this movie. And it's really entertaining because like you just like see these people just living like a normal life for a little bit. And it kind of gives you that hope as an audience that there's still a little bit of hope in this world. There's still a little hope and a little bit of happiness here and there before all hell breaks loose, basically. So yeah, I really liked the setting of this movie. It was definitely different for a zombie movie. Well, actually, it kind of reminded me a lot of Land of the Dead, if I'm being honest. Like, if you've seen George A. Romero's Land of the Dead, then you know what I'm talking about. So it kind of reminded me a lot of that, too. So yeah, I thought the setting of this movie basically being a quarantine zone or a military area, I thought was really cool for this sequel. And something that I really liked about this movie that I didn't really feel like it had it in 28 Days Later is that this movie felt like it had a lot of stakes. Like, this movie had that more risk factor to it. Because while I was watching this movie, like, there's moments where, like, I'll get more into the characters, but, like, some of the characters, like, he didn't really, like, care for, but, like, you just knew, like, some of the characters were gonna survive. Like, you were watching, you're like, okay, these characters aren't great, but we're gonna have to stick with them, and then they're gonna get their happy ending or whatever. But no, this movie is the opposite because these fuckers die. Like, a lot of these people die in this movie, and like there's a lot more risk factor. Like Jeremy Renner's character, I thought he would live because it's fucking Jeremy Renner. Like on it, like you look at him, it's just like, oh, he's a big actor. Like of course he's gonna survive. The fucker's Hawkeye. No, he fucking gets set on fucking fire and dies later on. Girl is on fire in this movie. Like I'm watching, I'm like, okay, like a lot of characters I thought were gonna live or ended up dying. Where I really like that about this movie. It has that risk factor, and it makes you think, has you wondering, it's like, is anybody gonna survive? Are any of them gonna live? Are all of them gonna die? Are any of them gonna survive? Are all of them gonna survive? Or all of them gonna die? I really like that about this movie. And when a horror movie has me thinking like has me questioning if someone's gonna live or die, then you know you make a good horror movie because when you watch a horror movie or a zombie movie, like it's pretty predictable who's gonna die. Like let's all be honest, it's all pretty fucking predictable who's gonna die. and who's gonna live. But in this movie, it's just like, nope, there's definitely that risk. And I guess spoilers, this movie's been out forever, so whatever, I guess. Like, there's like the little boy of this movie, like the dad in the beginning who ends up like leaving his wife to die or whatever. His little boy, like towards the end of this movie, when the dad turns into a zombie, he ends up biting the son and getting him infected. Like, I was really shocked and surprised that they did that, and they had the balls to do that to like a fucking 7-year-old kid, I'm pretty sure. Like, he looks like he's 7 years old. I was surprised they had the balls to do that. Like, I was honestly shocked that they did that. So yeah, I was really shocked about how much stakes and risks this movie had with the characters, and like who was wonder and like you had you wondering who's gonna live or die. And even at the end of the movie, when you think they had the happy ending, it's just like, oh, they got in the helicopter and escaped. Happy ending, right? Nope. Towards the end of the movie, it basically it tells you that everyone's fucking dead, and it's just like, fuck you, everyone's dead. It's like, okay, like, I like that about the movie. Sure, it's a little fucked up to say that. It's like, ooh, everyone died, but it's just like, not a lot of horror movies have really sad endings. A lot of horror movies have happy endings. No horror movie is supposed to be happy. Moving on to my mixed aspects of this movie, and one thing I was really bummed that they didn't really play into this, and something that I really wish that they did more with this in this movie, is that we find out that later on that the wife did survive that attack from the zombies or whatever, but however, she did kind of turn infected, where she wasn't infected, but she had the infection inside of her. Like, she was still human. She still had the humanly function. She was able to talk fine. She was able to act like herself, but she was still infected. Like, it was in her body. And if she bit someone or if she kissed somebody like she does with her husband, she's gonna turn them infected. Like, she's not a harm to anybody. Like, she's not going to try and kill you or anything. She'll just kill you if she bites you or, like, basically puts saliva or anything like that on you. That's basically how she infected you. And I really wish that they played more into that because that was a great idea there, where they're basically still human, but they have the infection still in there. That is such a great idea there. And that is something you could have played out throughout the entire movie. That could have been this entire movie, basically. I would have loved that if it was. But unfortunately, right after the husband turns, he basically goes over and he fucks her up. Like, this movie is violent and it's awesome. Like, that's another thing I love about this movie is how violent it is. Like, and like he basically fucks her up and kills her. It's just like, well, it's kind of a bummer they didn't play more into that because there's such a great idea there where you could have played into that and you could have made that like this whole movie. I would have loved if they did that, but unfortunately they didn't. My other mixed aspect about this movie, and it's kind of and it's not really anything that bothered me too much, and that is the leads of this movie. None of them are really memorable. Technically, the leads of this movie are the kids, but their acting skills aren't very good. But again, they're only kids, so I don't really judge. But the daughter of this movie looks like the fucking white chicks. Like, they look like the fucking white chicks people. Like, that's just what she looks like to me. But yeah, the leads aren't anything special, unfortunately. Like, they're not notable whatsoever. They're nothing to really talk about. Like, and I can't even remember any of their names. I only remember Jeremy Renner's character because it's Jeremy Renner. That's all I can tell you. And then there's a black guy that flies a fucking helicopter. He doesn't really do anything. I guess he has a wife and a kid. That's all they give you. Moving on to my negatives and about then what the first movie's issue was is that the movie looked blurry and it looked weird. This movie's issue, it's shaky. This movie has a lot of shaky cam. Like, this movie, like, you'll be watching the movie and like the infected will be like chasing you or going after you, but it's just shaking the camera to where you can't fucking see what's going on. You can't see what the infected are doing. You can't see who they're trying to kill. You can't see where they're going. Like, you can't see anything because it's shaky. You don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, whenever, like, I guess it's just like to create suspense. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of infected. They're rattling the building or the earth or whatever. I don't really know what they're trying to do. But it's just like, if I'm trying to watch infected trying to kill a bunch of people, I need to see what the fuck they're doing. And then when like that whole like I keep almost burping, excuse me. Like, there's moments where the infected are actually going off and killing people. I can't see what the fuck they're doing to them. You're shaking the damn camera everywhere. Like, I don't see what the fuck's going on anywhere. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I want to see people get fucked up. I'm a very fucked up human being for saying that. Overall, guys, I really enjoy 28 Weeks Later, and if I'm being honest, I probably prefer it over 28 Days Later. I don't know. I would have to sit on this movie, on these two after I see 28 Years Later. But I really enjoyed 28 Weeks Later. I think it is a pretty damn good sequel, and I think it's a pretty damn good follow-up to that movie. And like I said, I might prefer it over 28 Days Later, but again, I need to sit on both of these movies. So if you like the first one, then I definitely think you're going to like this one. If you were meh on the first movie, at least give this one a shot. That's what I have to say about this one. Thank you all so much for watching my thoughts on both 28 Days and Weeks Later. Let me know what you think about both films down in the comments below, and we shall talk about it. Do you like these movies? Do you not like this movie? Do you not like these movies? Is there's one that you prefer over the other? Let me know in the comments below, and we shall talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.